A warm welcome back to the Gaming Coffee Club podcast. This is episode number 7. Can you believe it? We are closing in on episode number 10, and also we're closing in on the year 2026. Time is flying. Before we know it, it'll be 2026, and we'll all have GTA 6 in our hands, if it releases, that is. We have a ton of amazing news to jump into this week, which I'll give you a quick taster of. But before we do that, make sure you support the podcast by heading over to purepsx.com and pick yourself up one of these amazing Gaming Coffee Club mugs. Thank you to all of you who have purchased these so far. My mind has been blown with the response. I hope to see some of your pictures of your mug with your setup or your PlayStation or whatever. Tag me on Instagram and I will share some of them in a future podcast. Now, this week, what are we talking about? We have a lot to talk about. We have got the Game Awards nominees. Yes, it's that time of the year. We have got the top selling PlayStation games on Steam, which we're going to discuss because in the episode last week, we discussed PlayStation potentially moving back from publishing their big AAA single-player games on Steam and just having the live service games go over onto PC. So we'll discuss that. We've got the Xbox Partner Preview Showcase, which happened, and a whole bunch of PlayStation games were announced or shown off a little bit more there, so we'll touch on that. We've got a new game from Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail's developer. We've got a potential price increase on the way for some consoles. We'll give you the heads up and all that. Steam Machine pricing news is also starting to be discussed, and excitingly, PlayStation 3 Emulation is being discussed for potentially PS5 or PS6. So enough of all that teasing. Let's get straight into the first news story, which is the 2025 Game Awards nominees. So the Game Awards website is now live where you can go and place your votes. So I thought it would be interesting to have a look at the categories for this year, in particular the Game of the Year and then the best game in each genre. I'm not going to go into all the stuff about game direction, narrative, art, music, all that stuff, because we could be here all day. This could be a dedicated podcast if we wanted to do a spin-off just on the Game Awards. Let me know if that's something you're interested in. However, for Game of the Year, the big one, which everyone is interested in, we have got 6 games. It's a pretty strong lineup. Actually, all the different categories here are really strong this year, in my opinion. I would love to know which you would be voting for each one. So make sure you please leave me a comment and let me know which your pick would be for here. So we've got Game of the Year. Let me know your pick. Which would you have? We've got Clear Obscure Expedition 33. I've still not played this. It's on my backlog. I downloaded it right away when it launched on Xbox Game Pass because it was on there day one. I've been looking to try and buy myself a physical copy on PS5, but I've not got around to it yet. We've then got Death Stranding 2 on the beach. We've got Donkey Kong Bonanza. I was playing this last night in bed on my Switch 2. A lot of fun. Absolutely love it. Hades 2. I've never played this. I never played the first one either. It just didn't really interest me. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I should. Maybe I would enjoy it. And then you've got Hollow Knight Silk Song. Again, another game. Passed me by. I just had no interest in this or the first one. And I know it's a bit of a cult classic. People love it. Am I missing out? I don't know. Let me know. The problem in this day and age is people always saying there's no games. There's so many freaking games. Like, people who manage to play all these games all the time, they must have a time machine, because I don't know how they do it. Seriously, between like family, work, working out, seeing friends, geez, and then trying to get games squeezed in there. It's tough. It ain't easy. And then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So what is our pick here? I kind of think and hope, based on what I've read and seen, especially because it's from a small development studio and they seem to have done such a great job, without playing it, Clear Obscure Expedition 33, I think, could be a good shout for winning it. If I just split this in half, I would take the left-hand side. Clear Obscure Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 on the beach, and Donkey Kong Bonanza. Any one of those 3 would be my pick. Not played Death Stranding 2, played the first one. and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've played a fair bit of that. Fantastic game. Absolutely love it. It might even be up there and better than Super Mario Odyssey. I'm not sure yet. I keep humming and hawing. Is it? Isn't it? I'm not sure. Once I finish it, because I finished Super Mario Odyssey and it's just spectacular, I will then make my decision on that. So that's the game of the year. Make sure you all head over to the website and vote. Just Google the Game Awards and you'll see the website pop up. But let me know in the comments, where is your vote heading? Have you played any of these? Which ones stood out to you? Let me know. Next, I'm just going to pick a couple of the categories which jumped out to me, which I think and hope you're all going to be interested in. I'm going to skip by Best Mobile Gaming, not interested in that. And I am going to start at Best Action Game and go through the different game type genres, because hopefully you're all interested in these ones. Now, Best Action Game, this is a tough category. For real, Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I need to check this one out. This did look interesting to me. I always like to see what Sega are cooking up and bringing back some of their older franchises. So for me, I've played Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, and Ninja Gaiden 4, and this is a tough one. I don't know where my vote would lie for this. Might be controversial. I'm thinking I would maybe go for Ninja Gaiden 4 or Doom the Dark Ages. What do we think, people? I know a lot of you will be saying Battlefield 6, but Battlefield 6 to me, it's good, but it's just Battlefield. It's just Battlefield done right. So that's Best Action Game. Best Action and Adventure Game. We've got Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotai, Hollow Knight Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. How intense are these categories this year? Like, whoever wins these, like, bravo, well deserved. Who do I think will win this one? Oh, I have no idea who will win this one. Split Fiction might be a shout. That's another one that's on my wish list backlog. I think it looks spectacular, and I love Hazelight Studios, some of their previous games, like what was the one where you break out of prison? I can't even remember the name of it. It went right off the top of my head. A Way Out, that's what it's called. Awesome co-op game. They do co-op games kind of like no other. Well worth playing if you've not played it. Check it out. It's great fun. Play with a buddy and you'll have a blast. Indiana Jones, again, pretty good. I've got that one. Ghost of Yotai, I've not played that yet. And I've not played Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, and Hollow Knight Silksong just doesn't really appeal to me. So I don't know. I think it could be... I don't know who could win this. This could go to anyone. I think... Yeah. I don't know who this could go to. This could go to absolutely anyone in this lineup. Who would I like to see win it? I don't know. I think Split Fiction would be fun. It'd be good to see them pick up the win here. Ghost of Yotai or Kojima with Death Stranding 2. Oh, I don't know. Any one of them. It's a tough lineup this year in the Game Awards, as we'll see when we go into our next category. Best RPG. So we've got Avowed, Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. I think Claire Obscure is going to win this from what I see. Monster Hunter Wilds was just plagued with performance issues when it launched. Avowed seems to have a bit of a lukewarm reception. I was kind of interested in it, and I downloaded it, and then I actually never played it. Outer Worlds 2, it didn't really do it for me. I was like, nah. So, Claire Obscure Expedition 33. I actually went to buy this the other day on Amazon physically, and it was sold out. So there you go. Popular game. Best RPG for 2025. Sound off in the comments, people. Best fighting game. Now, I'm going to have a pick here. So we've got 2XKO. I have never even heard of that, but after reading it here, you better believe I'm going to Google it and find out what it's all about. And it's from Riot Games. We've got Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. Damn, that's interesting, that being up there. That has been getting a lot of bad press. We reported on this in the podcast previously. The performance issues with lag and delay, in particular PlayStation 5 players were really noticing that. You know, you press X to kick or punch and there's such a noticeable lag spike afterwards. And then we've got Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. There's quite a few versions of Virtua Fighter 5, but this is the latest one. The latest and greatest one. I do love a bit of Virtua Fighter 5, but my pick here, and I don't know if it's going to win, but what I would want to win is Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. I picked this up physically for PS5, been playing this on my PS5 Pro. Love it. Love the art style. Love the gameplay. The character roster could be a bit better. A bit weird having Cristiano Ronaldo in there. But yeah, that's supposedly due to SNK being owned by the Saudi Arabian sovereign wealth fund. So he's their guy. He's getting pushed everywhere. So that is supposedly why that happened. But other than that, a great game. And they've just added in Chun-Li from Street Fighter, which is freaking awesome. Check it out, people. You can pick up great deals on this on Black Friday as well. Grab yourself a copy. But which fighting game is your knockout of 2025? Sound off in the comments. Best family game, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, man, Lego's dominating in here. Mario Kart World, it's the first time we've seen that today. Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. Okay, so I've played Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, played Mario Kart World, and Donkey Kong Bonanza. I've not played the other ones. I really want to play Split Fiction. Another thing that's really cool about Split Fiction, I'm pretty sure this is the case, I read that if you purchase it, you get an activation key which you can give to your friend so they can download the game and play it co-op with you. They don't get to keep the game or anything like that, but it means you can play through the game with them because it is a purely co-op experience. When I do pick up a copy of that, I will be definitely giving one of my mates a shout to play through that game. Which game do I think is going to win here, or would I like to see win here? I don't know. Again, any of the three I've played, or Split Fiction. The Lego games, I don't know. I've not played those ones. I can't remember the last Lego game I played. Recent one, it was probably the Skywalker Saga. Good fun, but Lego Voyagers and Lego Party, no idea. Lego Party, that's probably like a Mario Party type clone, I'm guessing. Might be wrong. Donkey Kong Bonanza, spectacular. Mario Kart World's a weird one for me because it's a ton of fun. It is amazing. It's probably one of the best Mario Karts they've ever made. But the open world element of it, which they kind of sold, or made a lot of noise about, just feels really empty and barren and bare and not an awful lot to do. I was kind of thinking it would be like Forza Horizon, where there's just, tons going on to race about and find stuff and have all sorts of different events and things like that. But no, not really, quite empty. So I don't know. I think my pick for this one, actually, out of the ones I've played, I'm going for Donkey Kong Bonanza. Let's just throw it out there. Let me know what's your best family game in the comment. I can't wait to see all your comments. You better answer, people, because I'm really interested to see what you'll think, because some of you will have managed to play all of these games. Some of you will have played some of them and you're like, that game was brilliant. Maybe I've not played it. So it's really good to know. And then it can help me decide what to play next. And speaking of playing next, we'll discuss that when we talk about our gaming coffee club podcast question of the week, where we talk about Black Friday pickups, what you've bought and what I've bought. I'll be showing off my haul so far. We're now into the best sim and strategy category. Final Fantasy Tactics. We've got Jurassic World Evolution 3. I played the second one of that. That was a stonking game. That was a great game. Sid Meier's Civilization 7. And then, oh, by the way, this game is on my wish list on Steam. Tempest Rising. This looks like a modern day Command and Conquer, and what I would give for EA to pull their heads out their backside and make a new good Command and Conquer game. They bought Westwood Studios and just obliterated it. We got, I guess you could say, one or two good Command and Conquer games, and then just probably one of the worst ones ever. We need a new one. Real-time strategy games like that, to me, are just god tier. They are so engrossing and addictive and fun. So Tempest Rising is like a modern take on Command and Conquer. When I get a little bit of time, I will be checking this out on my PC. The Altars, really interesting, fun game. I check that out really quickly on Game Pass. And then we have got 2 Point Museum. Again, this is like a spiritual successor kind of another classic game studio, which was bought up and obliterated by EA, Bullfrog Studios. Back in the day, I absolutely loved Theme Hospital. What an amazing game, Dungeon Keeper and stuff like that. But 2 Point Museum is kind of that same management god sim type thing that Theme Hospital was. They also did 2 Point Hospital, which was amazing. So that's a fun. I've not played 2 Point Museum. I've played 2 Point Hospital, and I've also played 2 Point College, I think it's called. You're like running a college or a school. So out of here, I don't know. This is an interesting one. This could go to any one of these. And there's a few quite different games. I mean, the Altars is so different from like Tempest Rising and 2 Point Museum. Who would I like to see win this? I have no idea. I'd like to see Tempest Rising win, actually, just to give a bit more of a spotlight to, Command and Conquer style RTS games. That would be my pick. What would yours be? Let me know. Best racing or best sports and racing game. We've got EA Sports FC 26, F1 25, Mario Kart World, Rematch, and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Rematch, I think I played that ages ago as well on Game Pass. And it's kind of like a football soccer game. I think I'm thinking of the right one here. And it's kind of like Rocket League. You are the one person. You're not controlling the whole team like you are on EA FC. So that's quite cool. What would I like to see win this one? I'd actually like to see Sonic Racing get the dub here. I really like the Sonic Racing kart games. I think they're super underrated. See the older ones as well, Sonic Racing Transformed, I think it was called. That was just spectacular. And I mean, EA Sports FC, I know they're so popular and everyone loves them. It's just like kind of every year the same thing, like Call of Duty. I don't think they should win it. They don't do enough for me. It's just another number. Next year it'll be 27, pretty much the same game, slightly better polished graphics. Plus, growing up, I don't know if any of you were, I was always a PES player. I loved Pro Evo. Pro Evo Soccer or Pro Evolution Soccer to me was way more fun than FIFA, I guess back then was. But EA Sports FC's in the running. Which would be your pick? I'm going for Sonic Racing Cross Worlds because why not? Let's get the spotlight on Team Sega. Best multiplayer. This is going to be an interesting one for all of you out here. These two here will probably have a lot of debate in the comments. Arc Raiders, Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, or Split Fiction. So I've played Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6, but I would still like to see Split Fiction win it. I just think it's just such a fun, creative game. They are actually making a movie a bit of Split Fiction. Fun fact, that would be really cool to see. Supposedly Sydney Sweeney is in the starring role, playing one of these characters here, I think. Don't know who else they've cast, but that's all the news we've heard so far. Looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully it's good and not one of these video game adaptations, which is absolute garbage. Hopefully they do it right. What's the next category? And we've got Best Adaptation. Funny enough, we were just talking about Split Fiction getting an adaptation, but now we've got a Minecraft movie. Has anyone seen this? I thought this looked so bad. I just was like, I'm not even watching this. I don't think I've seen any of these. None of these really appealed to me. Devil May Cry, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, The Last of Us Season 2, and Until Dawn. I don't know. I have no skin in the game here. Which one is the best out of these people? Let me know. And the last one I wanted to discuss was the most anticipated game, because this is a pretty good one as well. 007 First Light. A bit of James Bond, absolutely, why not? Grand Theft Auto 6. No surprises that's in there. Marvel's Wolverine. Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. That's a hell of a lineup there, people. Where's your money going? I think a lot of you will say GTA 6. I think a lot of you will say Marvel's Wolverine. And then I think possibly maybe The Witcher as well. what is my most anticipated out of these? I can't lie, it's GTA 6. I think that's from the trailers. If it's anything like the trailers, it's just going to be groundbreaking and on another level. I'm hyped. Our next story is about games which are leaving PlayStation Plus this December. And I think it's important to let you all know and give you a heads up, because you may have started some of these games and be wanting to finish them before they get removed from the service, especially say you're a Portal player and you're playing all your games through PlayStation Plus cloud streaming and you maybe don't own a PS5. This might be even more important for you. So PS Plus Extra and Premium subscribers have got a lot of games leaving. And these games are leaving on the 16th of December. So 9 games. Forspoken, by the way, actually a little bit underrated. It got just hammered when it was released originally. But give it a go. Not as bad as all the reviews would lead you to believe. Battlefield 2042. Again, it got smashed in the reviews. I thought it was okay. It's fun to play on the Portal as well. It runs quite well there. I've played it a fair bit on my Portal. GTA 3 Definitive Edition. It feels like that was just added a couple of months ago, so that was not there long. Hopefully when they switch that out, maybe they'll add in San Andreas or Vice City or something. I think San Andreas has already been in the service. Vice City maybe hasn't. I can't remember. I might be wrong. Sonic Frontiers is in there. I was really disappointed by that. Like, open world Sonic game, I was just thinking, yes, this could be their answer to Mario. Something just didn't feel right about it. I don't know if it was the performance. There was like so much pop in it. It was just really disappointing. You've then got Firefighting Simulator, The Squad, Surviving Mars, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. So that's a PSVR 2 game. So is Star Trek Bridge Crew. And then Arcade Paradise VR. So people, they're all leaving very, very soon, the 16th of December. Will you be playing through any of these? Are there any of these that you're gutted about leaving, or do you not care? You're now in the know. You've got literally a couple of weeks to finish these games off. Now we're talking about a cool update for your Welcome Hub on the PlayStation 5. Push Square are reporting on this. So the new update has added a bunch of extra tracking features, as well as some nice seasonal animated backgrounds, which change throughout the year. And they've checked it out just now, and it's live on their account there in the UK, so it should be live for me. I've not checked this out yet. However, when you add the widget, which is called Recently Played, your latest played game will be displayed along with the total number of hours, how many sessions you've had, and overall game progress. So that's quite cool if you're interested in seeing what you're doing in various games. Maybe you're a completionist trying to get, all the trophies and things like that. That is one part of the update. And the next part is these new backgrounds. So it's cool to see Sony adding more backgrounds. You've got like the PS5 Pro exclusive one, and then you've got some more here. So these are the new seasonal ones. I think we've got another image. So that's it applied to a background. So these look cool. They look like 3D rendered landscapes for different seasons. I quite like the snowy one. There's a really snowy winter looking one. There's the one that looks like Horizon Call of the Mountain. There's one that looks like maybe Japan in the autumn or something. Even though actually it's all the same lake, but it's just the colors are so different. It pops. You apply this once and it will change throughout the seasons. So I assume now if you put that one on, hopefully soon we'll get some snow. So it's nice to see Sony are still updating the backgrounds. That's something we've asked for a long time, dynamic backgrounds. It's good to see they've not forgotten about it. And I guess they're taking feedback on board, because when they launched the ones to celebrate PlayStation's 30th anniversary with, the PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4 themed ones, there was a bit of an outcry when they removed them. So it's nice to see they're adding more, and hopefully this continues. Now we're over at the Alinea Insight newsletter on Substack, and this article caught my eye in particular because we reported on last week's podcast that Jez Corden had basically said that a reliable source inside PlayStation had told him that PlayStation is now moving back from putting all their big, AAA tentpole games on to PC and Steam. In particular, this might be a response to the new Xbox PC console, which should be coming out in the future, and the Xbox PC handhelds. They're basically PCs, so they can run these games. And also the new Steam machine, which has been announced, which we spoke about on last week's episode. It's probably a bit of a direct threat to Sony if their key assets and key games, which are system sellers, are available on all these other systems. People might just go, oh, what's the point of buying a PlayStation then? I'll just get a Steam machine or an Xbox ROG Ally X series handheld and use that instead of a PlayStation. So this does make sense to me. However, the figures here are interesting. The top PlayStation Studios Steam games by copies sold. So Helldivers sold 12.7 million copies. Helldivers 2, that is. Horizon Zero Dawn, 4.5 million. God of War, 4.2 million. Days Gone, 3.4. And Spider-Man, only 2.7, surprisingly. And the gross revenue is 1.5 billion and a total of 43 million overall copies sold for PlayStation Studio games on Steam. Rice goes on to note that PlayStation has been steadily reducing the gap between PS5 launches and Steam ports as a logical way to raise overall revenue without disrupting its console business too much. And he says live service games will typically be simultaneously launched on PlayStation and Steam. However, he also calls out what we mentioned about the Steam machine, as the imminent arrival of the Steam machine complicates this balance. Until now, PlayStation has treated Steam as a secondary channel with longer delays for single-player first-party titles. If Steam begins to function as a competing ecosystem with its own dedicated hardware that plays PlayStation titles, the relationship changes. PlayStation may soon face pressure to rethink its timing and release strategy as Steam evolves from a distribution platform into a rival platform with broader reach and fewer constraints. Will PlayStation rage against the Steam machine? Let me know in the comments what you think. I mean, these numbers, this 1.5 billion, it's not actually massive figures when you compare it overall to the money that Sony brings in each year. So I'm not sure if they would be too worried about this. I think, I mean, you can see there as well, the big seller has been Helldivers 2. It's not been the single player games, which are, I would say, are the system sellers for PlayStation. Removing them out of the equation and keeping the live service games coming day and date onto PC and Steam would make sense for PlayStation to help alleviate this potential threat from the Steam machines and the new Xbox PCs. The only one we know they've got in the works is Marathon. How's that going to do? When I saw the state of play they did for it, I wasn't too hopeful. I thought this is going to be another Concord. Only time will tell. So will Sony be willing to sacrifice this 1.5 billion in gross revenue on Steam? Given that in Q1 2025 alone, Sony's PlayStation division brought in 11.4 billion, fueled by game sales and digital services. So over the course of the year, they're making like 40 odd billion. Is this a sacrifice they're willing to make? I think they might be, to protect their brand and PlayStation's value as a device that people want to buy and own. You've just got to look across the road at Nintendo. That's how they've been doing it. They have got a big wall around their garden. If you want to play Nintendo exclusives, you need a Switch or Switch 2. That's the only way you've got of playing them. I think Sony's seeing that success and thinking we need to do a little bit more of that ourselves. So Xbox had their partner preview for November 2025, where basically a whole bunch of third-party games got trailers to show off what's coming, or some of them were new ones which were announced. But as we know, that doesn't mean they're for Xbox only. Pretty much all of them are also coming to PlayStation 5. By my count, only 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are actually not coming to PlayStation 5. And the first one up is 007 First Light. We've got this nice new little trailer showing off his absolutely badass Aston Martin vehicle you will be using in the game, and it's got machine guns which pop out the side of it, so I'm sold. This car really looks like a McLaren, the shape of it. It's the Aston Martin Valhalla. I do believe that's like super rare in real life. I think there's something only like 99 of these being made, but you'll be able to drive one in the game, and apparently if you pre-order you get an upgrade to something. What does it say? Pre-order and get a free deluxe edition upgrade. Interesting. Does that mean it's not selling well in terms of pre-orders? I don't know. Pre-ordering all of these kind of games, I always think it's such a big risk these days because we've been burned so many times by pre-ordering a game and it comes out and it's a buggy mess. You also get a 24-hour early access, which is exclusively for the digital edition, which sucks. They need to be supporting physical games, people. You get some exclusive outfits, new weapon, and the Gleaming Pack, which is basically a whole bunch of gold accessories for Bond to use in the game. I really hope this game delivers and does well. They also show off the Legacy Edition, which is like the collector's edition, and it has like the golden gun, which looks very, very cool, and I imagine that will be very expensive, probably around about £200 or dollars plus, I would imagine. However, I hope this game delivers. I want a new, amazing James Bond game. I just think the GOAT back in the day, GoldenEye 007 on the N64, wow, what a masterpiece. I know this game is not just a straight up first person shooter, but I just hope it is awesome. I'm excited about this one. Now let's jump on to the next game. And if you're wondering when James Bond is coming out, I forgot to mention it's March the 27th, 2026. So not too long, just over 3 months to go until that arrives on your PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch 2 and PC. It's just most of these games are going everywhere, apart from the ones that are going to pretty much Xbox only. However, next up, what have we got? We've got Armatus, and this looks cool. This is a third-person roguelite shooter from Counterplay Games. The trailer introduces us to a mysterious event known as the Vanishing, which has ended the world, and it sees you become a masked warrior, summoned and magnificently armed to defeat the demonic horrors wandering the ruins of Paris. This looks pretty freaking cool. I think a lot of you will be hyped by this game. The visuals look great. So does the gunplay, the action in it. It reminds me of basically like Souls-like with guns. It looks very, very cool. And we don't have a release date for that one. We just know it is 2026, and this was a world premiere. So this was the first time we saw this game when it was showcased at this event. Next up is Clover Pit, which actually is an Xbox only game here. This is only coming to Xbox Series X and S, and it's available today. It dropped right away on the show. So this is a roguelite gambling game where you are gambling for your life, quite literally. Each spin contributes to your survival. Locked in a room with a slot machine and an ATM, you must play to pay off your debts and not be plunged into the depths below via a trap door. So if you're on Xbox, this is available to play right now via Game Pass on the cloud and on Xbox Series X and S. Crossworm is up next, which is a game which is coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox, and Switch and PC. And this is a stylish action platformer that blends tight traversal mechanics with fluid combat maneuvers. And we got to see a little bit more of this game in action at this partner showcase. This game had already been revealed. So if you're into your Metroidvania games, this is one that you should definitely have on your watch list. It looks pretty freaking cool. Then we got Dave the Diver playing Dave the Diver on his ROG Xbox Ally X. So this was basically announcing that Dave the Diver is available now on Xbox, and also the new Dave the Diver in the Jungle DLC, which is coming in early 2026 to all platforms, which is a new expansion that sees our marine hero Dave exploring solid ground, riding through jungle settlements, and doing battle against fierce giant crocodiles. Read more about it on the Dave the Diver website. Check that crocodile there. Whoa, that looks like a good DLC. Next up is Voxel Adventure Echo Generation. It does look really interesting, this one. I love the visuals in this trailer. I just love when you see devs being super creative, and that's what this looks like to me. The voxel art style just looks really fab here. If you're watching the trailer here, the dude's got a flamethrower and there's all these monsters and things like this. So this is a kind of spooky, supernatural kind of game. So Echo Generation 2 is bringing back the first game's spooky, supernatural setting, as well as its explosive turn-based combat against cosmic horrors and raging robots. We're also seeing welcome inspiration from many beloved 80s and 90s action movies, including a Gremlins-esque battle sidekick. So that sounds great to me. 80s and 90s action movies are where it's at, not the action movies we see these days. So yes, sign me up for some Echo Generation 2. Echo Generation is also a world premiere, and it is arriving in 2026 and only on Xbox and PC. No word of a PlayStation 5 port of the game just yet, but we'll keep you posted here on the channel if that changes. Now we have another world premiere. This time it is Erosion, and this is an isometric action game set in a stylish western themed voxel world. The trailer showed a quite interesting mechanic where you die, you respawn 10 years later. In the time that passes, the world around you has changed and the other characters have gotten older, creating an urgency to find what you're looking for. So that is an interesting mechanic that you need to, I guess, figure it all out before everyone around you dies. Very, very unique twist here, and another one of these voxel games. This seems to be quite popular, and when you see the actual gameplay, it does look quite fun. When you see the character fighting off all the hordes, it kind of gives me like Vampire Survivor vibes, or twin stick shooter game vibes. So this one looks interesting, and Erosion is coming to all platforms in 2026. Sorry, that's wrong. It's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. No Switch. Would the real Slim Shady please stand up? Yes, we've got another one of these random crossovers for Hitman World of Assassination. Does anyone get hyped or interested in these? I imagine it must bring more eyeballs to the game. So Slim Shady, Eminem, yes, is now in Hitman. Who would have thought of that? So this job sees Agent 47 tasked with hunting down none other than the alter ego Slim Shady at the request of, yes, you guessed it, Eminem himself. Kind of random, kind of fun. I don't know. I love Eminem, love my hip hop music, but this just doesn't appeal to me. I don't know. Maybe you guys and gals out there like it, but it's a free update coming 1st of December 2025. Can you guess what's coming next? Yes, another world premiere. This time it's Raji Kaliyugu. Is that even how you say it? Rajai Kaliyuga. I don't know. I'm probably absolutely butchering that. But this is a world premiere coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. The game expands on the conflict, portraying not just a war among mortals, but a cosmic struggle involving gods, asuras, and mystical forces. You play as Raji and her younger brother Darsh as a dual protagonist that you'll control during different parts of the story. The sequel also makes bold new strides into a new genre, pivoting from the first game's isometric interpretation of ancient India into a full third-person action adventure. Now, what we see in this trailer does look beautiful, but big-time caveat, it just looks like one of these CGI trailers, and it doesn't look like what might be gameplay, but they don't really show you any gameplay. I have this thing where I'm just not fussed about game trailers when they don't show us gameplay. So we get to see the two main protagonists here on screen, Raji and her younger brother Darsh. Looks like Darsh is cooking up a potion here to go to town on some of these bad guys around them. And then fade to black, it just cuts out. That's us done. We don't really see anything else. I would like to see a little bit more on this, so I'm not going to say anything, not pass judgment until I see some actual gameplay. We also got some more information on the Mound. Order of... this is another tongue twister name. I'm going to absolutely make a mess of this one. How do you say this name? The Mound Omen of Thulu? I don't know. Is that like a silent C? Is that even a thing? So this is a co-op horror game, and the new trailer shows off the expedition arriving on a mysterious coastline shrouded by dangerous jungles and supernatural forces beyond comprehension. Inspired by the original H.P. Lovecraft story, the Mound challenges players to work together and navigate shifting perceptions of reality to survive the horrors and uncover the treasures that lie within. Wow, okay. That is pretty cool. Do we have a date for that one? We do not have a date, just 2026. This one looks good though. This one caught me by surprise. Yeah, I think this one would be a lot of fun. So now we have a game from the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and this is called Reanimal. And we do have a date for this one, which is the 13th of February 2026. This is coming to absolutely every platform. And what is this all about? It does have Little Nightmares vibes when you watch this. You probably just think that's exactly what it is. So this is a darkly inviting co-op horror where you play as a brother and sister on a mission to rescue their missing friends and escape their home, which is now shrouded in horrors. As a duo, you'll venture through a twisted world brimming with monsters and secrets. In this new trailer, we saw some new locations and this uniquely atmospheric setting, as well as some new gameplay mechanics that you'll use to explore this harrowing adventure. So there you go, people. If you loved Little Nightmares, get this one on your wish list. You're probably going to love this one too. Next up is Roadside Research, which is one of the Xbox exclusive games. It's coming to Xbox and PC. And I don't know what to make of this at all. It kind of looks like you are playing as an alien working in a gas station, but if you're watching the video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You basically put a bit of paper on your face and draw a human face on it and pretend you are a human. It's as if you're kind of prepping the world for the upcoming alien invasion. Looks really, really random. So you'll be doing day-to-day tasks and, you'll be responsible for running this shop, stocking the shelves and appearing normal while secretly conducting research on your customers. However, if you arouse too much suspicion, the men in black will show up, jeopardizing your earthly mission. This could be great fun or it could be complete garbage. I have no idea. Let me know what you all think about this one down below in the comments. Next up, we saw some really cool gameplay from Tides of Annihilation. Like, if this is gameplay footage, which they say it is, and they say it doesn't represent the final quality of the product, it looks stunning. So this is an upcoming fantasy action adventure title inspired by Arthurian legend. The trailer shows off an entire boss fight from start to finish with the main protagonist, Gwendolyn, battling a giant winged entity, using abilities that allow her to shift through different realities to gain an edge in the fight. It's a mesmerizing scene complete with cinematic moments to add more flair to the frenetic combat. This looks really, really wow, to the point where you're watching this, you're like, is this actual live gameplay, or is this like some sort of big choreographed game moment for the trailer here? It looks wow. I hope you're watching this on YouTube or on Spotify. If not, head over there and check this out right now, because this looks really, really cool. This is coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and PC. This is just new info in the game. This wasn't a world premiere. And we do not have a release date. However, going by this boss fight This is looking like it could be something really, really fun, really special. Getting kind of Stellar Blade vibes a little bit from this actually, which is no bad thing. So we'll see how this all pans out, but this is one heck of a boss fight they've shown us here. Definitely got the juices flowing for lots of people out there. The only thing I will say, when you watch the trailer, we're watching the 4K game footage from this, and it's in-game game footage. Definitely something going on with the frame rate. At certain points, it looks like it really, really plummets, and then it looks super smooth as if it goes back up to 60. So who knows what's happening with that? Obviously, it's still work in progress. Hopefully that all gets polished out and it is a super smooth, fun experience. But that is the only negative I have about this gameplay trailer. Other than that, I am pretty much wowed. I mean, it just keeps going on and getting more insane and more ridiculous as you watch this. I could just sit here and watch this whole thing with you, but that would not be good for the podcast. So yes, check this out for yourself, people, if it looks like something you are interested in. Now we have Total Chaos, which has dropped already. It dropped on the day of the partner preview. And this is available on PS5 and Xbox Series and PC. So Total Chaos, from the creator of Turbo Overkill, comes Total Chaos, a first-person survival horror brimming with mysteries to solve and monsters to kill. Yeah, this looks creepy as hell, by the way. I saw this and I was like, oh no. You know your boy here doesn't do well with scary horror games. So if you're into really creepy, scary horror games, this is available right now, so you can scare yourself just completely shitless right now. You don't need to wait. Go and play this in the dark with your headphones on. And yeah, the monster design in this is really creepy looking. All these humanoid looking monster things just coming out the walls, and like packs and hordes of them. Some good moments here where he's got a machine gun. It looks like an OG World War machine gun, and he's just laying into these things like zombie style. Arachnophobia warning, people. Big giant spider looking monsters there. Yeah, this looks a very, very good, very, very creepy horror game. If any of you have downloaded and played this already, let me know your verdict down below in the comments. Now we've got the first of two world premieres, and this is coming out in 2026 to PS5, Xbox and PC, and this is Zoopunk. Yes, you heard that right. If any of you have played Fist Forged in Shadow Torch, which we played a while ago on the channel on the portal, it's on PlayStation Plus Extra. Go check it out, fun game. This is in that same world here. So this is a new action game from TI Games, and it's part of that same universe. You basically are on the hunt for this object called Spark before being captured by a rival group in this trailer. So this is a third-person action game. It kind of gave me Biomutant vibes when I watched this. Maybe it's just because it looks like you're playing as a rabbit with a gun. Visuals looked cool. This is a big step up from the Fist game I was talking about. Now, what I appreciated most about this trailer, especially because it is a world premiere, is that we actually saw a decent amount of gameplay. So we're seeing some pretty fast-paced third-person combat here. It looks really good. The visuals look amazing. I don't even know what graphics engine this is running on, but it looks nice. We've got this rabbit dual wielding two. I don't know if they're like kind of laser type swords. They do look like some form of, they're not a lightsaber, but they look like they're made of glass or something like that. And then we get what looks like a boss fight as well. Very, very cool. Keep my eye on this one. Hopefully this one does well. Also, it's coming to all platforms, like I said. But that wasn't the end of the world premieres. There was another one which totally surprised me, and I'm probably the most hyped for because I absolutely loved their previous game, which you can play right now. And what is that game? It's Vampire Survivors. Yes, that was like, it probably is still my favourite indie game. Maybe it's Balatro, maybe pipped it at the post. I don't know. But they have a new game called Vampire Crawlers. which is coming out in 2026 on PS5, PS4 as well also, Xbox, Switch and PC. I did not expect this, so this is looking really cool. Brand new game, first person deck building rogue-like dungeon crawler, and it is just full of that trademark Vampire Survivors chaos that makes it so much fun. The trailer wasn't very long. It didn't show us too much. However, I'm pretty sure if this is anything like Vampire Survivors was, you're going to want to just keep playing one more time, because Vampire Survivors just mastered that easy to pick up and play, difficult to put down because it was so engrossing. And it's cool to see they've taken the characters and a lot of the different abilities and weapons from Vampire Survivors over into this deck building game. It looks a lot of fun. I cannot wait to jump into this. I'll absolutely be picking this up. This will be a great game also, I'm sure, to play handheld on the Portal, just as Vampire Survivors is. So that was absolutely everything that was announced at the Xbox Partner Preview. You're now in the loop, you're now in the know whether you watched that or not. It was a kind of weird event in terms of, well, I never watched it live. I was busy, but there wasn't much buzz about it. I never actually heard anyone talk about it. And some people I did talk to were kind of like, what, PlayStation, Xbox has got a showcase just now? I didn't even know they had one right now. So there we go. Xbox's random marketing continues where not a lot of people knew about this, unfortunately. Some good announcements, some good games, some cool stuff to look forward to. Let me know what you're most looking forward to down below in the comments. Our next news story was kind of out of the blue, and it is the company behind Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail have announced their new game, which is basically an anime version of Control. If you've never played Control, go and check it out. It's from Remedy. It is a fantastic game. Psychological thriller type, I would say. So HoYoverse announced the game on Thursday with a 31-minute gameplay demo. That is the footage you're seeing on the screen. So this is their first game they've made in Unreal Engine 5 versus, I'm pretty sure that Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact were made in Unity. So it's kind of similar character vibes, as you can see when you watch this. However, it's much more kind of realistic art direction versus the heavily cel-shaded characters we got in Genshin Impact, which looked kind of something like, out of Zelda. This looks really cool. A lot more moody vibes from this game. The combat looks fantastic. Check, she's got like an umbrella which turns into a shotgun, it looks like, which is very freaking cool. Now, if this is their next free-to-play game, this looks really, really ambitious. They've definitely upped the levels here, and I think this could be huge. All of the other games have been pretty massive, so this doesn't surprise me. This 31-minute gameplay trailer we've got here, there's a fair bit of it. You see the combat, which is third person, looks great, looks really, really smooth. The animation and the visuals look fantastic. Then there's a bit once you get outside this building where there's a kind of driving section. We were outside in this world, which looks absolutely stunning. It's a really beautiful looking game, this. And you can see on the back there, it says SEAL. So that's one of the SEAL cars, which is this shadowy organization you seem to be working for. And then once you've driven about out here for a while, the trailer continues and kind of randomly, your character looks like Harley Quinn and is fighting a bunch of monsters. Like legit, this character jumps in out of nowhere, and you telling me this is not Harley Quinn? That's exactly what she looks like, 100%. So it looks like you've got your three characters here that you can switch between seamlessly in combat. I'm pretty hyped for this. I think this looks really, really cool. In terms of details, though, they were a bit light. We have no information on when it will be released yet. So HoYoverse have 3 games in development which are unreleased. So they've got Honkai Nexus Anima, and they have got Petite Planet, which is a kind of life simulator, think like Animal Crossing on Switch, kind of like that. And then this newly announced Versapura. So there's a lot going on in the Hoyoverse universe. This one looks very interesting. Do you think this looks interesting? Is this more your bag than Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, for example? I'm more intrigued to see how this runs on PlayStation 5. Unreal Engine 5 seems to be such a hit or miss with various games. More often than not, bit of a miss, especially open world type games. So it'll be interesting to see how this one runs when it's released. Fingers crossed it runs well because it looks absolutely stunning. The landscapes and the visuals in this look top notch. So I'm really intrigued to see how this is, especially free to play. Now, our next news story, we're over at videogamechronicle.com, and this is a bad one. There might be more price increases on the way for console gamers. The headline reads, "They didn't plan it at all. Xbox reportedly warning of yet another potential price increase." And this also mentions PlayStation, so we'll get into that also. Global RAM price increases could reportedly trigger another wave of price hikes for Xbox consoles. This is according to Moore's Law is Dead, which claims that Microsoft sales reps have already warned that a sharp increase in component costs could affect Xbox Series X and S. DRAM contract prices have reportedly increased over 170%. 170% year over year. That is wild. Driven by a huge agreement signed by Samsung and SK in October, which will supply OpenAI with nearly half of the world's DRAM output for its Stargate data centers. This is wild. So think about a few years ago. Us gamers are getting it rough, aren't we? So a few years ago, there was the big crypto boom. Everyone was buying GPUs and graphics cards to, mine Bitcoin and stuff like that. And the price of GPUs went through the roof. That kind of went down a little bit, settled a little bit. Prices have crept back up again, unfortunately. And now we've got AI taking all our DRAM. Jeez, and DRAM goes into everything, people. It's in your mobile phone, it's in your laptop, it's in your console, it's in your PC. This is not good. So Moore's Law is Dead's source has said that the resulting price hikes and shortages have left companies without a large stock of components, reportedly including Microsoft. They didn't plan ahead at all, said host Tom. If you still want an Xbox for some reason at their current pricing, those prices could go up soon or supply could just entirely dry up. Geez, because multiple sources of mine have apparently been warned by sales reps at Microsoft that this is going to affect Xbox Series consoles very, very soon. Sooner rather than later. Geez, Now, what about PlayStation? Well, according to Moore's Law is Dead, PlayStation is less likely to be affected by the DRAM price increases. He said, believe it or not, PlayStation, from what I've heard, Sony planned ahead and bought up gobs of RAM near the bottom of the pricing, and thus they should be fine for months. They have plenty of GDDR6, at least that's what I'm told. Currently, PS5 retails for $500 to $550, with the PS5 Pro retailing for $750 and Xbox Series X starting at $600. Both platform holders have raised prices this year. So there we go, people. Xbox might be increasing their prices again. Does this make it even less desirable? What do people think about this? Will we be trying to buy one of these before this happens? I guess if there's any kind of tech gadget you've been looking to get your hands on, I would suggest probably trying to get it sooner rather than later, as I think this isn't a problem unique to Microsoft or Xbox. However, it's probably going to impact all of our tech gadgets, unfortunately. One thing that is kind of random is, like, Microsoft have a huge stake in OpenAI, don't they? You think they would know that OpenAI were going to buy up all the DRAM and therefore think, do we need any of this for our product? Maybe not. Then again, when it comes to Xbox, it doesn't look like they plan further than, a day ahead. They seem to change their tune every other day. So this is not a good story. Hopefully this doesn't happen. I just wanted to make you all aware in case. So I know they said PlayStation's safe on this. However, I wouldn't bank on that. Just get yourself a PlayStation if you want one soon. If you want an Xbox, get your hands on that soon. Heck, even the Switch, it's got a lot of RAM in it. Was it 12 gigs in it or something? I don't know. Get your hands on the Switch too. Any of this could be used as an excuse just to raise prices, even if they aren't impacted. So people, get your tech right now if it's something you want and you can't afford to get it. If you're saving up for it, keep saving and get it as soon as you can, because who knows how wild this AI phenomenon is going to be and what piece of tech it's going to hoover up all the internals for next. Our next story, we're over on Push Square talking about Black Ops 7. And yes, in last week's episode, we showed off some of the comments and clips about this game as people were not happy with it and saying it's the worst Call of Duty ever. And I did say I was going to jump in and play this before this week's podcast. And you know what? I kept my word, I did. So I've played multiplayer and I've played single player campaign. Well, that's a lie. It was co-op campaign. I was playing with 3 other random people that were chucked into the game with me. And I also checked out zombies. So what is the script with this? Black Ops 7 UK sales have plummeted by 61% compared to Black Ops 6. Not very good, that is it? And they also compared it to the peak of Battlefield, which we did in last week's episode, saying Call of Duty peaked at 86k concurrent players on Steam. That's just Steam, I know, not the consoles, for Black Ops 7. A year ago, it was upwards of 300,000 for Black Ops 6. And for reference, Arc Raiders reached over 400k and Battlefield hit 271k on the day he posted that tweet, not at their peak. So not good for Black Ops 7. The official Call of Duty page, however, has been tweeting, either they're just ignoring this or tone deaf. Thank you to our community and developers. This is just the start. What apparently, according to them, it's been great and there's plenty more of exciting stuff to come. So what do I think about playing the game? Well, I jumped into Black Ops 7. It was interesting, to say the least. Let's start with multiplayer. Multiplayer was okay. However, it really feels like a mobile game. It really felt like Call of Duty Mobile to me. There was something about it. The time to kill was kind of weird, and there were some really annoying weapons in it. My God. Some dude just kept laser beaming me through a freaking wall. I don't even know what this gun was, but when I saw it back in the kill cam, it was literally, it would scan and see me through a wall and just shoot me through the wall with this laser type thing. It was so annoying. They did kind of win back a little bit of my goodwill by putting in Nuketown 24/7. I love a bit of Nuketown. Jumped into that. I would advise you to turn off the cross-play feature with PC. I was in a few lobbies with PC players and you just get smoked because the keyboard and mouse accuracy level is ridiculous versus a controller. I know controller does have the auto-aim feature, but it's just not the same. It's just not as quick. So I switched that off, played it with just console players, and it was a lot more fun. I loved playing some domination on that. Definitely not the best Call of Duty, but it's the standard kind of multiplayer Call of Duty affair. You know, what do you expect? That's what you get. Then zombies. The zombies I played was a weird, almost kind of like, the map was like a big loop, open world, and I tried to capture some clips of the gameplay when I was playing it, so if I got them, I'll throw them on screen as well. Driving about in this banged up truck, which you have to get repaired and stuff, and I was terrible at zombies here. My team were carrying me. I had no idea where the Pack-a-Punch machine was, which I needed big time. I think the Pack-a-Punch machine, after doing a little bit of research, actually gets built on this 4x4, but I had no idea where the hell it went. So I was screwed. I kept dying and getting revived by my teammates. It was the kind of usual zombies affair. I really prefer zombies when it's much more enclosed environments. I'm not a fan of these big, huge maps where you're traveling all over them, trying to do this, trying to do that. I entered the zombies world when it was first announced with Call of Duty World at War, and you know, the maps, they were just fantastic. Enclosed, claustrophobic, fighting off wave after wave of zombies. And then the later Black Ops, like I don't think you can beat like Kino der Toten. I just love that map. So yeah, zombies, okay. Then it was like, and like, these are just okay. There's nothing mind-blowing or like, wow, this is amazing, I need to play this. Then I went on to the campaign. Actually, that's a lie. I played the campaign first. And whoa, baby. The campaign is weird. So this footage that's on screen right now as I talk to you is from the campaign. This is pretty much from the first level. And check these, there's giant knives being thrown at you. Literally one of the first boss fights, you're fighting this guy who teleports into a cloud of blood, I think it is, about the map, shooting at you, is tossing giant swords at you, or knives, land on the map. You actually can pick them up and use it as like a kill streak and launch them back at him. It is so freaking weird. Now, it's fully online co-op. You can't pause it. You get booted for inactivity. It is not a good Call of Duty campaign, right? However, see if this was just a like online co-op first person shooter from some indie studio, you'd be like, oh, this is okay. But this is not Call of Duty. That to me is the problem. They've went so far off the wall here that you're like, what am I playing? Like, what is this all about? You know, these giant ridiculous boss fights. This is not grounded in reality at all. Even if it was futuristic and you're fighting off, you know, different kind of like drones and robots and stuff, that's fine. But give us that curated on the rails campaign experience, which, you know, Call of Duty is famous for. I've played a couple of levels. I've not played the full thing yet. I want to go back and play the whole way through this, but I wanted to have a shot of everything before I spoke to you all again. I'm not sure though if this campaign is actually worse than Modern Warfare 3 from a few years ago, because that was terrible. That was just like multiplayer maps stitched together. Go to this point, you know, kill these people, extract, blah, 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 rinse, repeat. It was so bad. And we know from news that came out from the Microsoft, Activision, FTC court cases that was planned to be a DLC, but then they were told, no, just make it into a full game. So yeah, Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is not having a good time, and I'd love to know your thoughts if you've jumped in and played it. It's definitely one of the worst Call of Duties ever. I think I might actually go back and play all of them and rank them. I do actually have, I think, all of them on Xbox, like actually pretty much all of them. So maybe I should do that and rank them all, maybe rank the full games or just the campaign or something. That might be a fun little video to do sometime. However, let me know what you all think about this. It's one of these ones, I don't think it'll be staying on my hard drive very long, let's put it that way. Definitely would rather be playing other games than this. It just doesn't feel special. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty of old. And maybe I'm showing my age with stuff like that, but if you go back to the original, like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the absolute peak. The original Modern Warfare 2, absolute peak. I mean, those games were just fantastic. How far Call of Duty has fallen is a bit of a mystery. I think they need to have a breather. They need to not release a game every year. Just go away, make this the last one for maybe another 2 or 3 years. Let people, you know, build up that affection for the franchise again. Let them miss it a little bit and then come back with an absolute banger. Grounded in reality, amazing curated campaign full of big set pieces and experiences. Solid multiplayer. Bring back a couple of classic maps, but give us some absolute banger new maps that could be classics in the future. And depending on what the franchise is, give us a great simple zombies experience, or, you know, like special ops or something like that. Yeah, I think that's what Call of Duty should do. Do you agree? Now, if you want to play the game, which is winning the first-person shooter war for free, you can do that for a limited time. So Battlefield 6 is going to be free to play. We're over here on Game Rant. And when can you play this? Well, players will have a limited time to try out Battlefield 6 for free with a special multiplayer trial offer running across all platforms from November the 25th to December the 1st. So that's pretty good. You've got a decent amount of time to go in and check this out. It is absolutely smashing Black Ops 7, as we all know. So maybe you think, what's all the fuss about? Let me go and check this out. The limited trial will include 3 maps and 5 modes, giving players a taste of what to expect from the game. So if you've not picked up Battlefield 6 yet, now's your chance to jump in and see what all the fuss is about. We're over on Eurogamer next to discuss the Horizon series on PlayStation, which has reportedly surpassed 40 million in sales, further cementing its position as one of Sony's best-selling franchises. The latest figures come from a Korean news article, which was translated on Reset Era. If accurate, it means that the Horizon series has sold roughly 2 million copies in the last few months. In July of this year, as part of a filed legal complaint against Tencent, where Sony accused the Chinese technology conglomerate of ripping off its Horizon video game franchise with its upcoming release Light of Motaram. The PlayStation maker said that the Horizon franchise had sold in excess of 38 million units. And in last week's episode of the Gaming Coffee Club podcast, we spoke about the latest Horizon game, which has just been announced from NCSoft, which is an MMO spin-off called Steel Frontiers, which bizarrely is not coming to PlayStation. It's coming to mobile and PC. However, it looks freaking good, so hopefully they change their mind on that and bring that over to PlayStation, as I'm pretty sure it will do really, really well. So 40 million sales, that's a big number. Is that a surprise to you? I wanted to flag this up because I think this is a really good franchise. It gets a lot of hate. A lot of people don't seem to like it. I do like it. I enjoyed it. I've played first one. I need to play the second one. I got the first one again though on PlayStation for the PlayStation 5, the remastered version. I need to check that out also. It's looking good for the Horizon series. Guerrilla Games doing well. I assume we'll be getting a third game. It would be cool if we could maybe see a Killzone as well. I know they did that previously. Maybe just like some other studio do Killzone then if Guerrilla Games is way too busy. However, is this surprising to you? Would you like to see more from Aloy and the world of Horizon? Has anyone checked out the PSVR game, Horizon Call of the Mountain? Is that what it's called? It looks really good, but damn, like VR just makes me feel sick. I get motion sickness. I've not tried PSVR 2. Maybe it won't be as bad in that. But PSVR 1 did not agree with me. However, that game looks freaking awesome. I'd love to check it out. And it's just good to see these first-party games selling well, doing well. And it's a kind of new franchise. It arrived on PS4, I know. However, it's cool to see this, and maybe this would allow them to, be brave and maybe try something new as well with Guerrilla Games. Great studio. What else could they be cooking up? Fingers crossed we see something cool from them in the future. Now time for our Gaming Coffee Club question of the week. Make sure you keep your eyes peeled for this on our community post feed on YouTube, because every week I ask you a question and it's your chance to feature in the podcast. So it's Black Friday week. Therefore I asked, what PlayStation games have you bought this Black Friday? Drop your answers below. The best ones will be featured this week's podcast, and I'll also share my random pickups too on the podcast. PS, our Gaming Coffee Club OG mugs are still at their Black Friday intro price, so grab one before the price goes up. Now, let's talk about games. What did you pick up? So we've got Dan's YouTube Shorts here saying, I got Mafia Definitive Edition. Nice one. Mafia games, very good. Then we have got K12 Moyo. Don't have a PS5. I went a little nuts and got all your wish list. You got the PlayStation Portal, Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, Astrobot, and Dead Space. Very, very good. Shrixus 2580. Honestly, I got the first Outer Worlds. Very good. Oh, for 15 quid. Nice. That's a good $15. That's a good bargain. I asked if there's any other ones. They're eyeing up. Hopefully Indiana Jones. Nice. Backlog problems though, it's due to Still Wakes, The Deep and Pacific Drive. Yep. The backlog struggle is real. We've got JHAL229 saying Astrobot. Awesome pickup. Then we've got this comment here saying, I thought the deals would be better than $15 to $20 off full price titles. What? I own all systems, so I'm not biased when I tell you Microsoft Black Friday deals are so far better than Sony this year. If you're like me and own everything, go check out Microsoft Black Friday deals ASAP. I do own everything, but I buy my games physical where you can get amazing deals. So what did I pick up? Well, let's have a look at what I've got so far. I've still got more on the way, but these are the ones which have arrived so far. My pickups is a random bunch here, so I'm intrigued to see all of your thoughts on this. Number 1, Space Marine 2. I have been wanting this game for ages. I've had it on my wish lists all over the place. Got this for a great price, £15. What a bargain. Hell yeah. For the Emperor. I've played the first Space Marine game on Steam. Awesome. And there's a remastered version on PC and Xbox as well. I've downloaded it to my Xbox, but I've not played it. I'm not a big one for replaying games I've already played. However, Space Marine 2 just looked freaking awesome. I cannot wait to jump into this and cause absolute carnage chopping up all the monsters. So that was my first pick. My second one, this is where they get interesting. You'll be like, what? You bought that game? Mind's Eye. Yes. So, fun fact, if any of you have been here for a long while, when this was announced on, it was like, I don't know whether it was a state of play, I think it was something like that, or whether it was one of the, Summer Games Fest or whatever it was at. The first trailer for this, I was like, that looks really good fun. I'm up for that. And then the whole hype with it being, Leslie Benzies, who was, I think, the previous president of Rockstar North or something like that. This got me hyped. Then it launched and it was just a buggy mess and it got absolutely slammed. So no way was I buying this for full price. It's supposedly been patched a lot when you read the recent reviews. So I picked this up for £10. That's like the price of 2 coffees. So yeah, I was taking that. Heck yeah, we'll see what this is like and we'll report back. Maybe I should do an update, like mini reviews on all these games I pick up. And it also says here, it's got bonus content, stealth silver sedan skin, and also deluxe edition upgrade. So we get the deluxe edition upgrade, whatever that entails. So there we go, that's cool. That's number 2. And then number 3 is a banger. Astrobot. I did not have Astrobot yet. Obviously, we got Astro's Playroom, which comes with your PS5. So you better believe I was so hyped to get my hands on this. This, still kind of expensive, but I thought a good price. £33. Pretty good for Astrobot. Yeah, amazing game. Cannot wait to play this. I just get like Mario 3D, open world adventure vibes from this, so I can't wait to play this. And I love all the nostalgia and all the nods to PlayStation systems and characters of previous generations. So yes, cannot wait to play this one. And then the next one, totally random, again for £10. Squirrel with a gun. I saw this and I thought, what the hell is this? This looks bananas, and funnily enough, a lot of the reviews were very positive for this game. So I have no idea what to expect, and I will let you all know in the future if you're interested. But that is my 4 pickups so far. I've also got another one, which is not arriving until December sometime, and it is the One Piece RPG game for PS5. Got that for... I got nearly all of them for £10, apart from Astrobot. So yeah, Black Friday, physical games is where it's at. You get so many bargains. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Prime Day, just New Year sales. That's why I always say, if you've got a digital PlayStation 5, do yourself a favor, buy the disc drive add-on, and you get some absolute steals on the games. at all these big sales, and you actually own something physical. If you lost your PlayStation account, it doesn't matter. You can still play this on a new account if you made one, whereas all your digital games which are tied to your account are gone. You can sell them on once you've played them if you want to. You can keep them and have a nice little collection and show off your awesome games. And you just own something physical. You've got something, that you don't need to worry about servers going down and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, that is my pick there of my games. Which one of my games would you like to play most out of those four? Is it going to be Squirrel with a Gun, Astrobot, Mind's Eye, or Space Marine 2? I think you're all going to pick Squirrel with a Gun. But yeah, that is my Black Friday haul 2025 so far. I didn't actually get any accessories this year. Usually I do pick up something, but this year I didn't. It was just all about the games so far. Let me know what you picked up if you did not comment on the Gaming Coffee Club post of the week, because I'd still love to know what deals you've picked up. Did you get any hardware? I know there was a big sale on PlayStation 5s are going for dirt cheap just now, especially in the UK, around about £250 mark you can get one. There's PSVR sales. There's all the 30th anniversary stuff seems to have been restocked, apart from the PS5 Pro, the limited edition one. Let me know what you've picked up. Big sales on portals. I want to know, people. Okay, our next news story is some interesting news on the pricing of Valve's new console, the Steam Machine. So we're over at the Skill Up YouTube channel, and Valve developer Pierre-Luc Griffiths explained that the company won't be subsidizing the new console like hardware, and that we should expect it to cost similar to a similar spec of PC. So in the interview, he actually said, I think that if you build a PC from parts and get to basically the same level of performance, that's the general price we aim to be at. We'd like to be competitive with that and have a pretty good deal, but we're working on refining that. Right now is not a good time to have a good idea of what the price is going to be, because there's a lot of external things going on. Then the host goes on and kind of asks, so it's not going to be subsidized, to which Pierre responds, it's more in line with what you'd expect from the current PC market. I think it becomes a harder sell the more expensive this gets. To me, this should be a budget console play, or budget market play, because you're going to have Xbox who's going to come in on the premium end of the scale with their ultra high-end new Xbox PC. Steam could capture a huge part of the market if they come in with a really competitively priced machine. And to me, when I say that, I mean competitively priced against the consoles, not against a PC. If it comes in competitively priced against similar spec PCs, I think a PC gamer would just rather have or buy the PC, and own a PC and do what they like with it. Customize it, all the different hardware parts they can swap in and out. Whereas this, to me, is more to appeal to the console market, which if it is really expensive, I don't think it will. Do you think it's going to be $700, $800? I think if it's around about that mark, I just don't see it selling well. I really don't. I think that'd be a bad move. I don't see why Steam wouldn't subsidize this, because pretty much everyone who buys this is going to be buying their games through Steam anyway. They have that marketplace. They'll get that 30% cut on every game sold. I think that would be the smart move. A bit of destroyer pricing, get in there, capture the market, be competitive, see what happens. If it comes in really expensive, I fear it might be dead on arrival. What price point would you be willing to pay for the Steam Machine? If you're interested, or even if you're not interested, it's just good to get different viewpoints. Let me know what you think. Our next news story is super interesting about the sales decline of the PlayStation 5 console in Japan. Probably mostly due to the Nintendo Switch 2, and PlayStation are readying this cut price version of the PS5 for the Japanese market only. We spoke about this on the channel previously. We covered it off in the State of Play Japan, which is where it was announced, and we live streamed that. It was awesome. Tons of you tuned in, so make sure you subscribe and ring that notification bell if you're on YouTube, because we live stream all the big PlayStation events here and react to them live together. This new language-locked PS5 console launched in Japan this week. And it's probably perfect timing because the latest Famitsu sales data from Japan reveal that the PlayStation 5 sold just 5,855 units last week. While sales have slowed in anticipation probably of this new cheaper model, which makes sense, the number looks apocalyptic compared to the Switch 2's total of 101,549 units during the same period. So the PS5 sold 5,000 consoles in Japan last week, and the Switch 2 sold 101,000. That is a big, big gap. So this new model, which will be priced around $350, should hopefully give it a bit of a boost. They've already sold a ton of PlayStation 5s in Japan. Switch 2 is the newest, hottest console on the block. Should Sony be worried here? That is a big gap between the two systems. I don't think so. I would imagine a ton of people have held off buying a PlayStation 5 when they heard this cut price model was launching. It's just common sense. Think about it. If you were in the market for a PlayStation 5 and Sony announced, we're launching a much cheaper one, which is basically the exact same console, will do the exact same stuff for a lot cheaper, what would you do? You'd obviously hold off. So I'd imagine we'll get a big sales bump when this new version appears. It's an interesting tactic from Sony to combat Switch 2 over in Japan, and it will be interesting to see how this pans out when we get the next batch of sales figures. Our next news story comes from gamesindustry.biz, and this is a really interesting one, and it's about kids wanting in-game currency at Christmas. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. An ESA survey also found that 58% of children want to play more games with their parents. So that's good. So let's see what this article says. Almost 3 in 5 children in the US are planning to ask for game-related products this Christmas. Awesome. There's genuinely no more magical feeling in the world than getting like a video game console and a game under the Christmas tree on Christmas Day. It is genuinely magic, and I hope all kids get to experience it. However, the article says 43% are asking for in-game currency. So this jumps out to me that kids are asking for V-Bucks in Fortnite, or, you know, what is it? The coins in EA FC to buy like their ultimate team and stuff like that. I know how expensive these in-game items are, you know, V-Bucks for, you know, skins in Fortnite and stuff. You buy a couple of them and you could have bought a full price game. Because I think back in my day, that we had, you know, new games that were just great new experiences each time, and then new generations of consoles, you know, and it was new graphics, and it genuinely felt so different each time we got like a new game. Unlike now, Fortnite has been about for, and there'll be generations that have just grown up playing Fortnite, and it's just the same thing. It's not really changed. I know there's been new game types and new collaborations and new modes, but it's the same thing. Whereas my generation had probably played through like multiple Grand Theft Autos and things like that at that point. I kind of don't know what I'm trying to say here. I just know that my natural reaction to this is I don't like it. I think I feel that a lot of these things you buy with in-game currency, like skins and stuff like this, are just kind of pointless and very expensive and will be forgotten about in a week or two. Unlike if, say, you bought a game like Astro Bot, or you got this for your Christmas, you're probably not going to forget it for a long, long time. You may always remember it. It may become one of your favorite games of all time. Or maybe you'll pick up like Space Marine and play through that, and maybe it'll become your favorite game of all time, and you'll have stories and you've had a great adventure and a great time with your new game instead of just more of the same. I don't know. That's just my natural reaction to this thing. The article goes on though, and it says that they also surveyed 1,100 adults aged 18 to 65, including 539 of them who were parents of kids aged between 5 and 17. And 1/3 of those US adults plan to purchase game-related items this Christmas. Most will be buying as a gift for someone else, with 35% gifting their children and 28% purchasing something for their spouse or significant other. Awesome. Getting like video games and stuff like that at Christmas is just the best. I love it. According to the ESA, the average adult intends to spend $500 on game-related gifts, with 1 in 4 spending less than $100. As for parents, the average amount they intend to spend on their children is $737. That is a lot of money. So I hope and I assume that's getting a new console and a couple of games. I hope they're not spending $773 on V-Bucks for Fortnite. No way. Though approximately half will spend less than $300. And then there's a quote here. Video games are one of the most popular forms of entertainment in the world today, with more than 205 million Americans powering up games every week to have fun, relax, and connect with friends and family. Fantastic. That's awesome. I think it's a great hobby. It's a great way to chill out, unwind, experience new worlds, go on adventures, all from the comfort of your home. I love it. And instead of just like passive, entertainment, like a TV show or a movie where you're just sitting watching it, being part of it and interactive in it and impacting what happens is just, that's why it's such a special medium, video gaming. It just is fantastic. Cannot be beaten. And the last quote here is just the best, and it warms my heart. And it says, our research this year shows that kids not only want games, no, that's not all they want. They also want quality time with their families. In a world where people feel increasingly disconnected, playing video games remains one of the easiest and most fun ways to stay close to the people we love. And I love that quote. I think that's awesome. It's really nice to see kids think this, and that's what they're thinking, instead of just wanting to be locked away in their own, being unsociable and stuff like that, which quite often is a stereotype you hear about younger generations. They just don't want to talk to anyone, blah blah blah. Maybe there's another reason they don't want to talk to you. I don't know, but this is nice to see that they want to stay connected with their friends and their families by playing games. Hopefully they're doing some of that in person as well. Like, again, back in my day, when you were playing multiplayer with your friends, you had to be in the same room. You were playing, on PlayStation with a multi-tap, or Nintendo 64, which has 4 ports on the front of it. So if this is just all online, that's still good. But again, you can't beat some face-to-face gaming action. I mean, bring back LAN parties. That's what I say, people. You could not beat stuff like that. I remember back in the day, like even playing games like Command and Conquer against like friends in the same room. Like somebody would be on a laptop and somebody else is on the PC and things like that. You just cannot beat it. It is just a blast. And then, on the Wii was one of the best things ever for playing games with people in the same room. Your Wii Sports, Mario Party and stuff like that. Great times. So very interesting article there. If you have kids, are you picking up any video game stuff for them for Christmas this year? And what is your thoughts on in-game currency purchases as a gift? So you'll be buying them maybe V-Bucks, gift cards or whatever it is like that. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's worth the money? Or would you rather get them, a separate game or something else? Now, you all know on the Gaming Coffee Club podcast, we love to keep our eyes on what's going on with video game franchises in other realms like TV and film. And we've got our first photos, official images of Link and Zelda in the Legend of Zelda live action movie. Now, this article over on Vooks has got these images and they look really good. This looks as if it's Breath of the Wild style costumes to me. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what jumped out at me when I first saw these. I think it looks really good. I was surprised and pleasantly surprised. So these are the first official images from the upcoming live action Legend of Zelda movie, and they were released today by Nintendo on the Nintendo Today app. And they also released them in higher quality via social media from Shigeru Miyamoto. Over the weekend, the photos and videos from set leaked, but these are the official ones. The Legend of Zelda movie doesn't have an official name yet, but it will come out on the 7th of May 2027, and Zelda will be played by Bo Bragason, and Link will be played by Benjamin Evan Ainsworth. So we've got this first image here, which looks really good, and then we've got the close-ups of the characters here. Now, I think these character images are spot on. The one thing that makes it slightly jarring, though, is we're not used to seeing Zelda and Link look real like this. So all the games, they're very like stylized, and particularly, the new ones, it's kind of like cel shaded, stylized graphics, kind of, whereas this is like they're real people here. So the game's, visuals are not heavily based on realism. So that was the one thing that was a bit like, whoa, that's what they would look like as real people. And I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty spot on. I'm happy with this. I'm looking forward to this. I hope this movie is really, really good. And seeing a live action movie from a Nintendo franchise would be amazing, because the last one, which we had, was terrible. The Super Mario movie with, was it Bob Hoskins or whatever he was called? Years ago. I remember that came out when I was a kid and pretty much mortified me because it was so bad. So bad. And then we had the recent Super Mario movie, Super Mario Brothers, which, it's all CGI and, 3D animated and looks great. Live action, though, different world. I'm excited to see how this pans out. And then if it's successful, surely we'll get a sequel and potentially other Nintendo franchises, maybe live action. What would we like to see there? I'd love to see like Metroid. That would be cool. Live action, Samus Aran. I think that would be awesome. Wow. Who knows what's next for the world of Nintendo? But I have high hopes for this one. And I think they've nailed the casting here. Fingers crossed. Next up, we're over on Mystic's YouTube channel, because he's got a great interview, which I recommend you go and check out, with the boss of Implicit Conversions, which is the studio behind emulating all these classic PS1 and PS2 games we see on PlayStation Plus these days. And the exciting news is he mentioned they have been quietly working on a PlayStation 3 emulator. Now, if you know anything about this, PlayStation 3 is notoriously difficult to get their games running. PlayStation had a whole bunch of them on PlayStation Now when it was a thing. It then became, the new versions of PS Plus, and they kind of canned it. However, he did mention that it's feasible to emulate PS3 games in the future. And the direct quote here is, he said, "We believe it's feasible. I don't think anyone expects it to run on a Switch or a PS4, but maybe PS5 and certainly PS6 whenever that comes out. We do feel it's technically possible. It's just a matter of devoting the time, energy, and resources to it." Yes, please sign me up for this. There's so many good PS3 games I would love to see on PS5, PS6, Portal. And that's not all he said. He went on to confirm that basically they are kind of working on it already. We're working with a third party to help us with this, so we have a base to work off. It's a back burner project for us that we're investigating over time. To be transparent, PS2 is more of a priority for us just because of the demand, but it's a fun project for our engineers. So again, a lot of us thought PS3 emulation might not happen due to how complicated, the console's architecture was. It was notoriously difficult to program for when it launched way back in the day. And that was part of the reason which helped Xbox 360 gain advantage. A lot of games ran better on the 360 versus the PS3 in the earlier days. However, this is great to see that Sony could potentially hit up Implicit Conversions, get them involved, and get some PS3 games on PS Plus or just up for us to buy. Is that something you'd all like to see? I think it is something a lot of players would like to see. The big question is, though, which PS3 game would you like to see appear first? I actually have no idea what game I would pick. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe something random, which I just know I would really enjoy, like one of the MotorStorm games. Maybe something like that would be awesome. Let me know which PlayStation 3 game you would love to see emulated on your PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 first. There we have it. The Game Awards is approaching. What is going to be your game of the year? That was a bumper episode of the Gaming Coffee Club podcast. Again, if you want to get yourself a mug to support the podcast directly, I'll leave links down below in the description. And if you're on YouTube, they'll be in the merch shelf below. Thank you very much for watching. Check out the next video on screen, which will be appearing because YouTube thinks you'll love it. And if you're watching on Spotify, Thank you very much. Leave us a rating. And if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, make sure you follow us every week. This is your chilled out PlayStation news update where we chill out with some caffeine and some game chat and some feel good vibes. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for even more Gaming Coffee Club podcast gaming news.